Hello, welcome to Turtle Talk. This is my vlog talk show style of video that I put up every now and then. It's been a while since I've had anything to put up, partially because I have not had the time, and I've also just had to fix all of my XSplit problems today, which is the recording program I use. So, it actually took me a lot longer. Probably like 2 hours of just trying to fix stuff and get stuff set up, and I did it finally just a few minutes ago. Did a test video, checked audio quality, sound levels, blah blah blah, all that. And so it's been a while since I've had a video to put up, or I've had anything to talk about. I really just wanted to come in and talk about X-Men, but I don't now end up talking about program problems. I wanted to talk about X-Men because X-Men Future Past is the next movie coming out. The Wolverine movie was a few months ago. It was pretty good. I liked it. Some people were mixed on it, but I thought they did a really good job. Like, without spoiling anything, I'll just say they, in the last Wolverine movie, covered ninjas better than I've seen in any other movie, and I like that. So I'm glad that they had that, and they had kind of a different. It took a different route than most even the X-Men movies have done so far, and I think that puts them moving towards a better direction than they've been going. And so I hope for X-Men Future Past a few things, and one of them is they haven't expanded or talked about or acknowledged Apocalypse, who is, if you know anything about X-Men, always ends up being like one of the mastermind worst bad guys, because he can time travel, he can do crazy stuff. He has I don't know, alien technology superpowers. He's been around for like 5,000 years. He came from Egypt and had something to do with one of the pharaohs, and big bunch of stuff going on way back then. So if you ever really look, you can Wikipedia his backstory and you can get a ton of information. I made a big post on it about Facebook about how he needs to be in the next movie. He really, if they're gonna do X-Men Future Past as a time alternate timeline, time traveling stuff going on, or communicating with say the professor in the future past kind of world, they need to do a few things, and they need to involve Apocalypse. I mean, even Wolverine and the X-Men I've talked about a few times. Wolverine and the X-Men was a single season, but it was a really well done cartoon for X-Men, and it had the professor able to communicate through time with Wolverine, and that made for a pretty good story. And I wish they could have went farther, and at the very end of the season they cliffhanger teased that Apocalypse was going to be big in this show, and then it got canceled and you never get to find out what's going to happen. And I think that's a bit sad, but I hope that maybe they'll take that, they'll use that inspiration or that knowledge for X-Men Future Past. And I don't know that they will. I don't know that that's going to happen. I really don't. But that's what I would hope for. That's what I would do if I had a way to do it, or a way to show X-Men stuff to you guys. I mean, Apocalypse is one of the big bad characters. He's one of the first mutants, and so his influence over the X-Men is big, and he puts himself in these time sleep things. He animates suspended animation. He puts himself in suspended animation several times, and with the intent of waking up someday hoping that maybe mutants are a more common thing, or that mutants have, I put it in the post I made, mutants are more on his level of maybe being able to fight or capabilities and stuff, because he is quite advanced for being one of the earliest of mutants. So he also has a lot to do with Sinister, who is kind of the mad scientist villain that comes up in the cartoon shows and the comic books. And I like Sinister. I actually I remember having the action figures for Sinister when I was younger. I remember having some of the comics that had Sinister in them. I remember him being in the '90s cartoon, and Sinister was he's he's kind of a Dracula-looking kind of character, even though they couldn't really do that. He has that like um, that just crazed science where he like wants to take Cyclops and Jean and like make the perfect mutants for the future. He wants the world to be changed by his science, and Apocalypse had part of something to do with that in their origin stories. If they were to be fully explained to you, Apocalypse had something to do with one of the times he woke up to influence Sinister, and so I'd like to see Sinister involved. He didn't make it in the movies 1, 2, 3, Wolverine Origins, Future Past, Wolverine 2. He didn't make it in any of those. He would have been perfect for the second Wolverine movie. Like, he would have been a great character for them to be like, oh, let's bust in some Sinister, because he's a scientist, and they had some science stuff going on, even though they had the ninjas and stuff. They had other stuff going on in that movie, and I'm trying not to spoil anything, so I'm saying pretty vaguely what I'm saying. But, yeah, I think that's characters that they need to get involved because they're known. I mean, the 1, 2, and 3 movies pretty much was like Magneto, bad guy. That's all we know. Magneto's not really a bad guy. He's just a mutant with a different set of goals. Instead of Xavier trying to teach the X-Men how to cope and deal with humans, Magneto's trying to make mutants, step up and crush out the humans, or take charge and like say, look, we're here and you can't change it. Magneto not completely a bad guy. I mean, in some comics and some of the cartoons, he had like Mutant Island, or Genosha, I think was the island in Wolverine and the X-Men that he had, and it's an island. In one of the cartoons, I think, might have been the '90s cartoon, Magneto's island was like a meteor island, and like a meteor had come down from Earth, and he stopped it. He used his powers to like make sure it didn't destroy Earth, but like turned it into an island, and then like made it a refuge and a safe place and a sanctuary for mutants. And so the fact that Magneto can do something like that kind of made a good grace with the world, and like they let him kind of have his own country, and it was just this giant rock. And I don't know what Genosha's story was in Wolverine and the X-Men, other than he did make it a sanctuary. He made it a place where like you're not welcome if you're not mutant, and you're supposed to be safe if you're mutant. And there was plot points and stuff involved in that with his kids, who Quicksilver wasn't allowed on the island because he was too rambunctious and too, something Magneto just never cared for Pietro Quicksilver as much as he did for the Scarlet Witch, what's her name, and the green chick, I don't remember her name either. And I don't think in that show that they even talked about Domino being his daughter. I'm pretty sure she is, though. Could be wrong. Thought she was. But so, anyways, Pietro and Scarlet Witch and whatever the green girl's name is. I drawn a blank on it. But yeah, so they got to involve some of that in that show, and then some of the '90s cartoon and stuff. They got to talk a little bit about that. I think in X-Men Evolution, they were kind of still in like high school, so there was a weird Teen Titans like combatant kind of thing where they were trying to like they've got a show about teenagers in high school, and we're trying to get more people involved in this and make it more relatable to teenagers in the demographic that we would really actually reach in America, because adults don't watch cartoons. So they tried to do that, and I think X-Men Evolution was pretty good. 4 seasons. It was pretty good. I think the original '90s was 5 seasons, so they didn't get as many seasons or as many shows probably, but they still they had decent stuff. It was a different kind of animation. Some of the characters were a little goofy, and they kind of gave them that teenage angst. But all in all, not bad. I think Wolverine and the X-Men was kind of trying to bring a Japanese to America style of anime that it just didn't take off. It wasn't as popular as it should have been. I think it was really good. I really liked the Wolverine and the X-Men show, so I think you can watch it on Netflix. I would watch it. Like, it's, I think, 26 episodes, so again, that kind of makes me think of how they should do X-Men Future Past the movie, which I will say the first X-Men movie, cool, they're trying to take a lighter step. The second X-Men movie, cool, they brought in some more characters. Third X-Men movie, where are some of the characters that are supposed to be here? That's one of the things that's always bugged me about the third X-Men movie was that Sabretooth just never showed back up after the first movie. He wasn't even in the second movie. Nightcrawler was in the second movie, never showed up for the third movie. Don't know what that was about. Kitty Pryde changed from whatever, I don't know who played her in the first movie or whatever when she walked through the door when Logan was meeting the professor. But then it was Ellen Page in the third movie, and they had the Juggernaut there, which about time they got the Juggernaut in the movies. It took him till the third movie to get it, and then he didn't really have very big of a part. And he didn't even get his like traditional like suit, and so Juggernaut, one of my favorite characters. Big guy, runs through anything, you can't stop him. I love it. Great character. Who do you counteract him with? Kitty Pryde. So makes sense that they kind of made him chase her and her go through walls and pull him into a floor. Like that was clever. Like what you should do using those two X-Men in a fight, but it wasn't done enough. There was other characters that just disappeared. Like you just don't see them. I keep drawing blanks, but I think they showed. I don't think they even showed Pietro in. Maybe the third movie they showed a Quicksilver character, but they didn't ever say it was Quicksilver or Pietro. They didn't ever give him that. A lot of the Murloc characters that are like the underground, deformed, sewer-dwelling characters, they just never brought that up, even though that's kind of who Magneto was working with in the third movie to make his army, and he had the Phoenix and stuff. They didn't really ever go into anything super detailed. So that's a bit of a letdown. I think they could have done it better. I would have liked them to have done it better. I still watch the movies and I still like them, but I'm still like able to pick apart the parts where I'm like, this should have happened, and like they went too safe. They played it safe. Like, we don't want to do anything too unrealistic. We've tried to make this a believable X-Men, but since the Avengers and Iron Man movies kind of went like, woo, let's do everything we can, and aliens and stuff. I mean, Thor was kind of the first of the movies that was like, let's go to a different planet and make Thor not just some weird guy in America smashing stuff. Like, let's make him like a different planet and like have to come here to do stuff. But like, they did a really good job with that with the Avengers. So yeah. Anyways, I would like to see X-Men take it up. Since the Avengers took it to like that other kind of level, I think those movies have done really well. I would expect Apocalypse, Sinister to be involved because they are major bad guys. If they just stick the movies on these Magneto bad guy, it's just not going to cover everything that they need to story-wise. So yeah, I mean, that's really what I want to talk about today. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I can get some more viewers. It's been very few on most of the last videos. I'm going to try and promote it a little bit better. If you guys want to talk more about X-Men or other comic book stuff, please let me know. Comment, message me on Facebook, .com/trollnumber13. My Twitter is twitter.com/trollnumber13. My YouTube is /trollnumber13. So everything's fairly unified, so you guys can find me. It's, spelled out Turtle NUMBER 13. So hopefully you guys can share some of my videos, some of my stuff. I also have like a Tumblr page where I post cats with glasses fairly often. If you guys like cats and funny pictures, I post some of those every now and then. There's something that's not cats with glasses, but generally the Tumblr's for that. I'm thinking of making a Tumblr that's going to be towards more comic book stuff, nerdy, high-res background style photos, maybe X-Men and stuff, or battle scenes, but not sure yet. That's going to be a little bit harder to do than just the cats with glasses. It's easy, just find a cat, Google something, and get cats with glasses. The X-Men stuff, it's going to be harder to do. Like the cats I've tried to do a daily post, so the X-Men stuff, I don't know how often I would post, or I don't want to be one of those Geek for Life Facebook pages where I'm just like posting pictures every couple hours and have like a couple people posting pictures or whatever, because it's a little impersonal. I'd rather post like just one a day and keep friends and stuff in contact. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching, and hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys later.